What's up, guys? It's Benny. History doesn't repeat itself, but it sure as hell does rhyme. Bill Clinton lied about being best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Turns out they palled around the globe together, and he took 26 different flights on the Lolita Express. Bill Clinton lied about going to Jeffrey Epstein's island. The victims on that island said they saw Bill Clinton there, and Bill Clinton lied about what he did on that island. Jeffrey Epstein himself said Bill Clinton likes him young. These are all in the documents, but these aren't even the most damning documents. A man who had this painting of Bill Clinton hanging inside of his $50 million mansion in Manhattan knows a thing or two about Bill Clinton. Nobody's ever gotten to the bottom of what this painting actually was. And more importantly, nobody ever got to the bottom of what Jeffrey Epstein had in that mansion. Got a load of this. According to the FBI in 2019, Special Agent Kelly McGuire says they used a saw to bust open Epstein's safe. They found diamonds, passports, CDs, hard drives, marked evidence, and insurance policy. Black binders full of CDs, bins full of hard drives. Where the hell are those? According to Pam Bondi, those assets are being hoarded by the FBI in the Southern District of New York, and they refuse to give up the evidence. This is the showdown of the century. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no such thing as a coincidence in life. The blue dress that Bill Clinton is seen wearing here is a callback to the stained blue dress that almost lost a presidency. If you're unfamiliar with this, I mean, listen, we have a younger audience on this channel. In 1997, Monica Lewinsky told her dear friend that she was in possession of a blue dress that has Bill Clinton's genetic material splattered all over it. I'll let you fill in the blanks there. I'll try to do a family-friendly show. And that would be her insurance policy against Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton lied and said that he never had any sexual relationships with Monica Lewinsky. Monica Lewinsky was going to get the dress dry cleaned. She was convinced not to. She turned the dress over in 1998 to a special counsel investigator who did a blood test on Bill Clinton and found out that the splattering over the blue dress from Monica Lewinsky on her knees in the White House, that's actually Bill Clinton. Proving that Bill Clinton lied, it got him impeached, ladies and gentlemen. So Bill Clinton, undone by his own evidence in this case, and I think soon to be in the Epstein case. Why are we talking about this? This stuff did take place over 20 years ago. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Bill Clinton's still very angry about it. Bill Clinton's still very, very angry at Monica Lewinsky. Bill Clinton was asked one time on the record about Monica Lewinsky in the past couple of years. This is from 2018. And Bill Clinton lost his damn mind. Watch this.
The things that this Me Too era has done, it's forced a lot of women to speak out. One of those women, Monica Lewinsky, she wrote in an op-ed that the Me Too movement changed her view of sexual harassment. Quote, "He was my boss. He was the most powerful man on the planet. He was 27 years my senior. With enough life experience to know better, he was at the time at the pinnacle of his career while I was in my first job out of college." Looking back on what happened then, through the lens of Me Too now, do you think differently or feel more responsibility?
No, I felt terrible then, and I came to grips with it.
Did you ever apologize to her?
No, yes, and nobody believes that I got out of that for free. I left the White House $16 million in debt. But you typically have ignored gaping facts in describing this, and I bet you don't even know them. This was litigated 20 years ago. 2/3 of the American people sided with me. They were not insensitive to that. I had a sexual harassment policy when I was governor in the 80s. I had 2 women chiefs of staff when I was governor. Women were overrepresented in the Attorney General's office in the 70s for their percentage in the bar. I've had nothing but women leaders in my office since I left. You are giving one side and omitting facts.
Mr. President, I'm not trying to present a side.
You asked me if I agreed. The answer is no, I don't.
And I asked if you'd ever apologized, and you said you had.
I have.
You've apologized to her.
I apologize to everybody in the world.
I apologize to everybody in the world. How bad was it? That's what they aired. This is back in a time when the corporate media could chop things like that up, right? Make Bill Clinton look better than he actually did. The little birdies on the street say that Bill Clinton had a meltdown, walked off, and just started screaming because it was just asked about Monica Lewinsky. Again, a woman who had literal physical DNA evidence splattered all over her dress. It's like, you think you live in wild times now, but will it ever get that wild again? Who knows? Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, Monica Lewinsky is back. Just in time for the Epstein files to be released on Bill Clinton. No coincidences, right? Monica Lewinsky's back saying that Bill Clinton needed to resign. Oh my. Bill Clinton tried to destroy her career. She went on a podcast called Call Her Daddy. Now, I'm not like a Call Her Daddy hater exactly. The reason why, and this was a podcast that obviously, it's like a sex podcast, right? Kamala Harris was on it famously and bombed. And then Alex Cooper, the host of the podcast, came out after the election and just destroyed Kamala Harris. It was like savage to her. It was really mean. I think that's funny. And I guess some props to this podcast. Nonetheless, let's have a listen to what Monica Lewinsky has to say about Bill Clinton. Throwing her under the bus. Oh my, naughty, naughty. Let's go.
When you look back, once the news broke and how everything was handled by media and the White House, how do you think it should have been handled? Have you thought about that?
Oh my gosh. I think that he should have said, I'm like now thinking this through. I don't think I've answered this question before. But good question. I haven't been asked that before. So I think that the right way to handle a situation like that would have been to probably say it was, nobody's business and to resign, or to find a way of staying in office that was not lying and not throwing a young person who is just starting out in the world under the bus. And at the same time, I'm hearing myself say that. And it's like, okay, but we're also talking about the most powerful office in the world, so I don't want to be naive either, but
I love that answer because you're being honest. You're like, as a human being, if we take a step back, that I agree with you. That is exactly how it should have been handled. It's the least they could have done for you, right? And not even for you, just for
for anybody, right?
It was the truth, right? But then we're talking about the White House, and I think this is where it gets complicated because, at what cost are you just kind of thrown to the wolves to protect something larger?
I don't know.
I know we both don't have the answer, and I think it's okay.
Complicated, it's really complicated because you are talking about issues and situations where so many people are impacted. So I don't, and maybe this is a reflection of my generation or my age, but I don't know where the right balance is, because there was damage no matter what. I think there was so much collateral damage for women of my generation to watch a young woman to be pilloried on the world stage, to be torn apart, for my sexuality, for my mistakes, for my everything.
Oh my. The right thing would have been to handle the situation, would have been to resign. Find a way of staying in office, not lying to destroy a young person. And that's exactly what Bill Clinton did. Obviously, the Epstein stuff is really bad, but he shouldn't have been allowed to continue in public life after the Lewinsky stuff. Like what he did, she was like an intern. She was much younger than him. She's in her 20s. And he just destroyed her life and did it with impunity. And then Democrats tried to put him back in the White House in a couple of years. In 2016, they were desperate to put Bill Clinton back in the White House after this. Here's Monica Lewinsky on the age difference.
To add color for my audience, I just want to read this. You were 22 years old. He was 49. You were an intern. He was the president of the United States. There is a clear power imbalance that they never focused on in the media when all this was coming out. How aware were you of this power imbalance?
I don't think that was something we talked about. very much back then, in the same way that we didn't have words like slut shaming and fat shaming. I think this story became, it felt very bifurcated. It was like most Democrats, whether they believed him or not, were supportive. Most Republicans, whether they, were opposed. And that wasn't something that we talked about a lot. And I think that it was really in the wake of Me Too 2.0 that we really started to look at power imbalances under the umbrella of abuse of power.
Yeah.
What a bastard. And he's like, he obviously is still resentful against Monica Lewinsky, and then says that nobody, he destroyed her life effectively. He destroyed her entire career. She wasn't allowed to go out and seek further employment. Like, this man, I think a lot of the Me Too stuff is obviously blown out of proportion, and the Brett Kavanaugh stuff is obviously fake, There are liars out there. But this happened, actually. Democrats, here's your opportunity to say, this man's a monster, throw him in prison for what he did to this chick that he was the boss of. It's like, talk about power dynamics. And here's your chance, right? To live out your morals, disavow Bill Clinton. No, have a listen.
Because it was 2007 when I was job hunting, I was, and then Hillary was running in 2008. So there was this high likelihood that she would become president or could get the nomination. So I think at that point she was expected to get the nomination, but of course Barack Obama did. So at this period of time when I am job hunting, people were saying, well, could you get a letter of I can never say this. I had Bell's palsy a few years ago. So sometimes, so sometimes some words are still a little hard for me, but asked me if I could get a letter of indemnification. If they hired me, because they relied on grants. And so they were worried that they would lose all their funding. So it was, there were a couple places that, were interested to hire me, but would be like, well, you'd be interacting with the media. So, it's just,
So will Bill Clinton be undone by the evidence again? What evidence exists of Bill Clinton in Epstein's apartment? It wasn't just Monica who was very popular at the White House. It was also Ghislaine Maxwell. We'll wait to see, ladies and gentlemen. No coincidence. It's your boy Betty. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.